So here's the deal. I'm working on the shuttle again, and we're re-entering right now, and we'll see how that goes. I'm not gonna expect much. In fact, I'm gonna expect it to fail again. But then again, we do have fancy new air brakes installed, and we do have some flaps available, and maybe the combination of those two things will help. Except that the flaps didn't actually activate just now. So yeah, I accidentally fucked up the action group on those. But here goes nothing. I'm going to go ahead and stop time warping, I think. Yeah, I'm going to stop time warping now because, woo, that's kind of scary. Actually, let's see, is my orientation good? I think my orientation is good. Let's go ahead and time warp some more. Because what's the worst that could happen with time warp? It's not like I'm going to spontaneously combust and explode or something. Also, speaking of spontaneously combusting or exploding, that actually looks like it's getting kind of hot. Can I... Oh, I could have sworn they had a little heat indicator in here that you could look at. Is that only on engines? No. Is it on wings? No. I guess that was just not a thing anymore. Okay, I thought that was a thing, but apparently not. I just have to look at the indicator, well, look at the fact that it's turning slightly red and go, maybe that's overheating. I don't know. Speaking of overheating, something definitely is overheating, and I believe it was the tail, actually. That's interesting. Overall, everything seems to be going well with this reentry so far. I'm going to go ahead and turn time warp back up a bit. Yeah, so we're occasionally getting some lift, occasionally not getting it. Slowing down speed pretty well. We're pretty high in the atmosphere, but we're slowing down pretty well. Coming in just at sunrise, so, you know, it's not the best time to come in. Those flaps are definitely helping us slow down quite a bit. The air brakes aren't really doing anything, but that's just because the angle that we're coming in at right now is such a high angle that they're not really going to do anything. I'm actually going to try and see if we can get some cross-range capability by turning. Whoa! Steady on there. I'm going to go ahead and turn the time warp down so we can kind of keep track of things better. But basically, it looks like I'm coming in over the ocean, so I'd like to kind of try to come in over land. So I'm going to try to divert my flight path, if I can, a little bit to the side. Things definitely seem to be holding together a heck of a lot better than with my previous iteration. I've also moved the wings back. That's part of what I've done. Activating flaps when I didn't before and should have definitely probably helped a lot. The side slip is a problem, I'm pretty sure. And I know what I need to do about that. I just haven't done it yet. And this is just one quick test flight. Basically, I was testing that I knew how to fly the shuttle still because I was doing a little bit of testing, a little bit of experimenting, trying to remember where I was. And I realized I didn't remember how to actually fly my shuttle properly. So I realized that was a problem that I needed to definitely fix because, you know, if I don't know how to fly my own shuttle, how the heck am I supposed to, you know, fly my shuttle? So anyhow, we're starting to get down to about Mach 3.3. We're still burning a little, but not much. And I'm pitching down the nose to keep us closer to the direction of travel I actually want to go in, because I'm concerned that if I don't do that, I'll start having problems with it pitching up uncontrollably like I had before. And at this point, I believe I'm going to go ahead and put the flaps back up. Ooh, that was a mistake. That was a huge mistake. Okay, so we do need those down to stay stable. And yeah, this is basically what I was expecting to happen. I was hoping it wouldn't, but I was basically expecting this to happen. And I think I know exactly what I need to do to fix it. I just haven't done it yet. And I wanted to do one more shuttle flight before I went to fix it. Yep, that's not good. So eventually this thing will flip itself out in a really weird way, I'm sure. In the meantime, we are getting some nice lines everywhere. Oh, hey, look at that. Oh, it didn't, and it did. I was going to say, hey, look, it didn't flip out horribly, and then it did. So, yeah. Oh, there you go. Get some nice drag on those, whatchamacallits, air brakes. Wow, those wings are producing a hell of a lot of drag falling this way. All right, let's see if we can rotate it around to kind of regain control some. That's not really helping, which is unfortunate because we definitely need to pitch down, and we just don't have any pitch down authority, which is not good. We have zero control authority, and we are now falling backwards. So yay. Everything is awesome. Let's go ahead and try firing up the RCS to see if that can help us at all. Let's also try firing up the engines, which is just going to make us spin, of course. Good job, Shuttle. Good job. You're doing everything right. Okay, I clearly have a Shuttle V10 in here, but it's clearly not showing up on this list. What the fuck? There we go. I can't believe I literally had to make it show up by renaming the fucking file. That's so stupid. The fix, according to someone who was having a similar trouble, is actually really simple. It's to put some fins down here and put them almost all the way into the vehicle, but just sticking out ever so slightly because the game physics will think that that is still a perfectly usable control surface despite the fact that it's almost completely hidden inside, and so you can kind of cheat the system this way. But I'm going to try and get that edge kind of level, so I'm going to put it like that. I kind of don't want to have it cheat too much. Like, I want it to be visible. If there's going to be a control surface down here doing something, I want it to be at least somewhat visible. Let's go ahead and try deploying it to see how the deflection angle works. I'd say that looks pretty good. Yeah. Alright. So hopefully that'll fix the yaw problem. However, does not fix everything. I've also added a small fin sticking out of the external tank to assist with yaw problems. And the main thing I think that might help, although I'm kind of worried about it increasing the... I'm worried about it putting the center of lift too far forward. No, it's having a very small effect, so it should probably be okay. Is to do a similar thing up front with canards clipped in. And these should hopefully help with pitch issues. Then again, that is a shuttle bay, so they're going to have to be clipped into the cockpit in order to function the way I want. And these are active for pitch only. Alright, assuming this works, which is actually a pretty large assumption, we should be pretty much good. It's got RCS controls, maybe not the best amount of fuel for the RCS. There may be some other problems that are not the best or whatever, but I think overall, I think this is good for a base model. I might need to tweak a few more things, but I'm hoping that we're pretty much done with it. I hope. Anyhow, so the launch instructions for it are essentially full throttle, stage, wait for it to settle down, wait for this to go to 0, pretty much, okay, and stage again when you're about to run out of fuel on those. So you might have noticed, I forgot to mention, I enabled the SAS when I saw that the meters per second gauge had mostly stabilized to 0. And so the idea behind that is that the launch clamps don't hold it perfectly still, so you kind of need to give it a moment to relax. And then now that we're actually going, the most important thing to do is watch your surface speed. And when it reaches 200 meters per second, you need to throttle back to 2/3. So right now I'm, watching that very carefully. And we're at 160, 170, and you'll notice that the speeding up will start to increase right here. And that's because we're getting low on the amount of fuel in the SRBs, but still getting all the thrust of the SRBs. So you can see we're still gaining velocity pretty quickly. And now the SRBs are going to run out pretty quickly, and when they do, we want to stage those and go to full throttle. So I'm going to hit Z and spacebar at the same time. Alright, there we go. Full throttle, ditch those. That came very, very close to hitting the shuttle. But overall, we are alright. And we can continue on going up. Now we want to go up for a bit until our apoapsis gets to, let's say, I don't know, 40? Or maybe we should base it off of our own altitude. I'm not really sure. This part I haven't planned out exactly. I haven't decided what the instructions should be. I think at this point I should have already been gradually pulling back. In fact, I'm going to amend my instructions to say, gradually start pulling back the moment you ditch the SRBs. Well, the moment they fall clear. You want to gradually pull back until you want to very slowly follow the curve. I'm not really following the curve too much. I'm actually building up a lot of drag right now. But you want to kind of follow the curve gently over to... You want to eventually be pitching about level with the atmosphere. You want to end up ultimately kind of wobbling a little bit. Ultimately, you want to... I'm just going to turn that off for a split second to help with the wobble. When you get an oscillation like that you can't really stop, the best thing to do is just wobble a bit. And right now I'm going to go ahead and you can see my apoapsis is getting 270, so I'm going to go ahead and start throttling down to 1/3. Or I'm going to, you know, completely throttle down to 1/3, and I'm going to keep it level pretty much. And basically the idea here is that I want to... Whoops, come on, let's get back on 90. I want to, as much as possible, get to a low fast orbit, and so right now I'm trying to not increase my apoapsis height too much while still throttling up quite a bit. Of course, my apoapsis height is not listening, so I'm actually going to pitch down more to like negative 20 degrees. You can see now my apoapsis height is still going up quite a bit. In fact, oh gosh, I'm pitching down even more. I don't mean to be. But sometimes it's kind of hard to get this thing to quite cooperate. You have to really manage the controls. You can't just let SAS hold it. And it's because the thrust offset from where you're actually trying to go, both in terms of the direction on the nav ball and where the engines are actually firing, and in terms of the fact that you have to use the massive thrust vectoring to stay in control. So we're just kind of doing a long, slow, steady burn into orbit, and I'm watching. Obviously, if you don't have Kerbal Engineer, you need to have some manner of keeping track of your orbital parameters, but you can see I'm just basically pitching down a bit more, trying to not gain too much more altitude, because that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get into a lower orbit. We're going to get into a higher orbit, but whatever. And just sort of keeping the throttle low, just gaining speed. We're about 3/4 of the way to orbit already. And, woo. Yeah, this starts to become the part where it's a little bit more difficult to hold on to it, because you're getting very close to where you might have to ditch the tank early because you can't balance. That's something that I could possibly work on, but considering how well the rest of it works, in my opinion, at least how well it works for me, I don't necessarily want to work on that yet. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the SAS, I mean the RCS. Yeah, see, we don't have the ability to control that anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and ditch it. And I'm going to go ahead and continue pitching around. I'm going to hit 9 to switch the engine modes, and I'm going to go ahead and open the fuel up. And I'm going to full throttle. I full throttled a bit sooner than I wanted to because we've actually passed our apoapsis and are now falling back towards the planet. So that's why I wanted to do that. I actually accidentally throttled up too much, so I actually went back to apoapsis. I boosted my apoapsis up a bit there. Now it's very slowly falling. Now it's staying about the same. So we're staying pretty close to apoapsis, and I'm just basically finishing up in orbit. As you can see, our periapsis is at negative 110 kilometers. And I'm just trying to get that up to around, well, around 88, since that's where we are right now. Although really you could do whatever you want from here. And the fuel, it doesn't have much fuel to do much else. I probably should work on the balance of that tank, but I can't be bothered right now. If someone else would love to do it, if someone else would do it, I'd love that. That'd be cool. You might notice these landing gears stick out quite a bit. I changed that on purpose because I wanted them more, I wanted them a bit lower. And let's go ahead and pitch down a bit. And oh, that's still oh well, we're definitely in orbit now, and you can see I have over half of the orbiter's fuel left. So what I'm going to do is immediately deorbit, because I need to test the deorbiting. Except I don't think I'm going to deorbit here. I'm going to wait till I go around and can't see the sun anymore before I try to deorbit, because I'd like to come down in the sunlight. And I'm trying to think where the best place to do that would be. So I think I'm going to go to just a little over halfway through the nighttime side. So right about here is where I'm going to go ahead and tell myself to deorbit. Let's see, we're pretty close to the negative velocity vector, so I'll go ahead and pitch up a bit, and I'll watch my periapsis height drop down to about 30 kilometers, I'll say. I think 30 kilometers should do just fine. Okay, that's a little lower than 30, but whatever. You can see that's plenty on the bright side, so I shall come in around here somewhere. and we'll see how that goes. Oh yeah, we're facing this way. Alright, so atmospheric entry will happen momentarily. I'm going to go ahead and get the shuttle positioned. And there we go. Now if you want to see the RCS in action, here we go. Here's a little RCS action for you. There you go. Alright, I'm going to turn that back off. And we're basically simulating heavy landings. I mean, I'm pretty sure, basically, if it can do a heavy landing, it can probably do a lighter landing. So that's my rationale there. Let's go ahead and pitch this up a bit more. Let's say, oops, I forgot, because I time warped, the controls were more responsive than I expected them to be. I'm going to go ahead and kind of line this up, I think, a bit better. Oops, I accidentally hit the wrong button and overcorrected. There we go. And let's go ahead and time warp faster, because I want to get down into the atmosphere quickly. I'm going to pitch down just a bit because we are higher pitched than I wanted to be. This time I'm going to actually activate those, and I forgot to fix that. Yeah, I'm going to activate those. I'm going to activate... Actually, let me do that. Let me hit the brakes. There we go, to activate those. And you can see we're now starting to get a little re-entry heating. I'm actually going to pitch down just a little bit more. Oh, now we're oscillating. Because we're at time warp and I pitch down, that causes oscillations. So let's try and leave time warp, get the pitch how we want it, kind of around there. Cycle SAS to try and get it to stay there. And then I'll go ahead and time warp a little more again. This thing's getting hot. Of course, this time, last time I was pretty much at orbital velocity. Yeah, I was pretty close, but I think it was a little bit lighter. I also wasn't going as deep into the atmosphere with my initial burn. So this time should be a better test, if nothing else, of the heat capacity or whatever, you know, how well this thing survives re-entering with a lot of heat happening. You can see the, I believe that's the tail that shows up as getting pretty hot there for a moment, but then it cools down. And you can see everything else is, let's see, we're building up a little bit of an oscillation. Okay, I'm going to get out of the time warp there because the oscillation was beginning to be a problem. I'm just going to try and get myself lined up a bit better. We're coming down over the ocean, so I can't do a landing test, unfortunately. But if it just re-enters, I'll be happy with that. Because, yeah, I fucked up the shuttle a lot. And hopefully I've unfucked it. Mach 4, and we're just about to approach our original periapsis before re-entering. Still going pretty damn fast, but I think I'm actually going to go ahead and pitch down just a bit, because we're doing alright. Alright, as we're getting below Mach 3, we're now at Mach 2.8, 2.7. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pitch down a bit. And we're going to kind of try and get into normal flight here. Now this is the part where I have no idea how things will go. For instance, I don't know if raising these flaps will lead to better flights or kill us. I don't know if disabling those... Let's see. Seems to be flying all right. Let's go ahead and try... Let's go ahead and try disabling these. Let's see, looks like we definitely have to put a lot more work on controlling it with those disabled. Whoa. That pitched down quite badly for a moment there. Overall, we seem to be doing a lot better. Then again, we're still not at the lower... We're not at the denser atmosphere with the higher, lower velocities where we were experiencing dramatic problems before. Whoa. Let's see. Whoa, yeah. Okay, we're losing it. And regaining control, maybe? Nope. Wow, that's interesting. Spinning the exact opposite direction that I told it to. That's interesting. Okay, and now we're fucked. I can't make a shuttle. I can't make a shuttle. That sucks. Oh well. I thought I could. But I guess I was wrong. Anyhow, thanks for watching. And as always, I'll see you in space. Hopefully not in a shuttle. At least, apparently, because I can't design one worth shit.